the closing doors, please.
The embarrassment continues. The Mets continue to be a mockery this week in Major League Baseball. 7 straight losses and officially out of first place. 2 runners scoring on the same play almost at the same exact time. You just almost can't make it up anymore. It is absolutely unbearable to watch this Mets baseball club right now. I cannot believe what we have been witnessing. This is beyond rock bottom. I thought that it was rock bottom when they lost on Tuesday, when they blew the 4-1 lead in the 8th inning. I thought it was maybe after getting shut out by Chris Sale the next day, or then maybe after getting swept by the Braves. But I think this may actually be the worst of it all. You put it all together, it's 7 losses in a row. The Mets get shut down by Zach Wheeler after blowing another bases loaded opportunity in the first inning. Clearly your best chance to get to a pitcher of Wheeler's caliber, and they don't cash in. And despite trailing 2-0, end up coming back to tie this one up with back-to-back jacks from Alonso and McNeil in the 6th. And boy, that didn't last very long. The Phillies erupt for 6 runs in the 7th inning. Reed Garrett can't even record an out. And the Mets are once again absolutely laughed out of the building of an opponent, a National League East opponent, an opponent that we talked about earlier this week, crucial in this 10-game stretch as the Mets were looking to hold on to the top spot in the National League East, and they have lost the first 4 games to the Braves and to the Phillies. I don't even know what to say. Guys, I'm Tony Metro. What's up? I do daily Mets content. We do post-game recaps after every single Mets game. I wish that wasn't the case because I really don't want to be here doing this right now, because I really don't want to be watching this Mets team right now. This is abhorrent. I can't believe what we are watching right now. This does not even look close to the same team that we watched climb to 43-25 or whatever it was. 21, 22 games over 500 at one point. And it feels like in less than a week, they have completely transformed to a third-rate team in their own division. But guys, be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Be sure to leave this stream a like. It really goes a long way toward helping out the channel. I appreciate that. Talking Mets with Rob, just downright bad. Yep. This is not fun, Nico. 100% with both of you guys. I'm sorry, but World Series winning teams don't have 7-game losing streaks. World Series winning teams don't give up 6 runs in the 7th inning. They don't give up another 2-run jack in the following inning. World Series teams don't have Justin Garza pitching for them. They don't have Jared Young hitting for them in the 6th spot in their lineup. World Series teams don't have to rely on a middling prospect in Blade Tidwell to come up and only pitch 3 2/3 innings for them. This is alarming. A 7-game losing streak. When's the last time the Dodgers have been on a 7-game losing streak? When's the last time a team like the Braves have been on a 7-game? Well, that's not a good one because they started the season 0-7, but you get what I mean. This is beyond alarming now. The Mets are so effed up, they can't get out of their own way. And for the first 5 innings, 6 innings of this game, even when the Phillies finally did take the 3-2 lead, I was like, not even that upset with the Mets performance, because what I was going to say is I've never seen anything like this. The amount of bloop hits that teams are getting against us, the amount of hits that they are hitting out of the shift against us has been insane. Insane. Brandon Marsh with the RBI single to make it 2-0, just a bloop hit, just a little duck fart over the third baseman's head, Brett Beatty, with 2 outs. I mean, then another one in that 7th inning to make it 4-2. And from there, it was all blown out. But I've never seen the amount of bad luck, the amount of bad breaks that the Mets have been getting over this week stretch. It started with Tampa Bay, where it just seemed like every ball they put in play found some grass. And then it continued this entire week. And then as soon as all of that is done with, The other team is already up by 3-4 runs, and it doesn't matter. You know, they break through, hit a couple ringing doubles. This has just been unbelievable. I can't believe what I'm watching. I cannot believe the Mets are on a 7-game losing streak and are out of first place. Welcome to second place, everybody. Participation trophies for everyone. Silver medals. This is just insane. I know it's only June, but this is terrifying right now. I did not think that no matter how things bad could have gone during this stretch, that the Mets would be on a 7-game losing streak and that they would start this 10-game stretch with the Braves and with the Phillies 0-4. And in the fashion that they have. Each one has been painful in its own right. You had the game on Tuesday where they blow the 4-1 lead to the Braves. Then you get almost a complete game shutout from Sale the next day. And then they get just pretty much bulldozed by Spencer Strider. Offense is limp yesterday once again. And then today, former Met Zach Wheeler throwing 5 or 6 scoreless innings for them. And then watches the Phillies go out and score 6 runs in the 7th inning. Reed Garrett doesn't even record an out in this game before departing. And what's going to help us? Let me think. Justin Garza. That's what we need. That's exactly what the Mets need right now. We need some more Justin Garza pitching for this ball club that is absolutely reeling. Paging David Stearns. Wake up, Sleepy Stearns. You got to do something here. You've got to add some players to this roster. We cannot trot out Garza. We cannot trot out Jared Young. Brett Beatty has been dog crap ever since his mini little 2-week stretch. His whole career has been dog crap, and he's our starting third baseman right now. Ronnie Mauricio's hitting 170. Francisco Alvarez, the future catcher of this team, doesn't even start anymore. There has to be change. There has to be something. Because the players on this roster around the outside of the core are simply not good enough. Nico, guys, Jared Young is going to help us out. Yeah, Jared Young. Oh, that's it. We need more Jared Young and Steven Garza and Jose Castillo. That's going to do it. That's going to do it. Logged Off Gaming, Buteau, only one worth anything in the bullpen. Yeah, nice outing from Buteau. He gives us 2 scoreless in this one. It looked like the tides were turning. The Mets getting the momentum back after Pete Alonso and McNeil going back-to-back off Taijuan Walker to tie this game up. And then, boop, Jose Buteau comes out of this one. Reed Garrett in, who, by the way, has been absolutely terrible lately. Reed Garrett, it's been a tale of 2 seasons. He had the best earned run average in the National League in all of baseball there for the first, 8 weeks almost of the season, almost the first 2 months of the year. And he has been dreadful lately. Absolutely dreadful. Gives up the 3-run double to Marcell Ozuna on Tuesday. And today comes in back-to-back doubles to cough up the lead. Gives up another base hit, and his night is done. 3 earned runs for Reed Garrett before even recording a single out. My goodness. Steve Sorensen, thank you so much for the super chat. No fear, put in my application for bullpen relief. Yes, I think we could use you, Steve. What number would you wear if you were going to be a Mets reliever? I personally think I would go with 99. I'd go the Ricky Vaughn route, like for a major league. If I have to hear or see them talk about this replay of the 2 Phillies scoring at the same time again, I'm going to vomit. I am going to throw up if I have to see this again. I am so just tired of this team. The Mets have found new ways to lose and to embarrass themselves every single night through this 7-game losing streak. If it's not the pitching, it's the hitting that's not doing the job. It's not the starting pitching, it's the bullpen not getting the job done. It's the defense. It's the other team with miraculous plays and scoring 2 guys basically simultaneously. This is just, I've never seen anything like it. I have never seen such a stretch of poor play combined with bad luck and the other teams just feasting on the Mets going back to last Friday against the Rays. To think this all started, go back, put your mind to last Friday against Tampa Bay. The Mets leading 4-1. Clay Holmes just finished the top of the fourth inning. He gets pulled. On comes Paul Blackburn and Max Kranick. They blow that lead, give up a 6-run sixth inning. The Mets lose that game. That is where all of this shit show began. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's almost like when the Nationals, or when Senga went down against the Nationals, all the air out of the Mets balloon was let out. All the good vibes went right out the window. That is the line of demarcation for this team. Ever since Senga went down, the Mets have just looked horrible. And I'm not obviously blaming the injury on the reason why the Mets aren't hitting or why the pitching has been so poor, both in the rotation and in the bullpen, and why Carlos Mendoza has been outmanaged in multiple games during this stretch, and why the Mets have just looked totally lifeless. But it is just hard to fathom what a fall from grace it has been for this team over the last week. The Phillies have gained 6.5 games on the Mets since last Friday. Think about that. 7 days, 6.5 games. Does that sound familiar? If you were around in 2007, that should sound kind of familiar to you. Just brutal. Absolutely horrible. Logged Off Gaming, Marlins looked better, LOL. Did they end up beating the Braves? Because at least they'll be humbled a little bit. But this was a great opportunity for the Mets tonight. When it's 2-2 and I check the scores and I see the Braves are losing to the Marlins 5-1, the Mets could maybe come back, win this game against the Phillies, take a 1-game lead, snap the streak, get the first one, and maybe take 2 out of 3 this weekend while the Braves are losing, separate ourselves a little bit from those two punks. But instead, Reed Garrett, absolutely pitiful performance out of the pen. Steven Garza, not much better. Josh, what is it? I don't even know his first name. I don't care. He shouldn't be on this roster. David Stearns needs to do something now. 7-game losing streak. What else do you need to see? Quadruple A arms, pitching out of the bullpen. Quadruple A arms making starts. Yeah, Justin Hageman had to come in and do mop-up duty for the team yesterday. He was the scheduled starter today. The lineup, forget it. 2 solo shots today. Great. They leave 7 on base. It doesn't even really matter. Only 2 at-bats with runners in scoring position, and you figured it. 0 for 2. No hits in either of them. Jeff McNeil rolls into the ground ball double play in the first inning, and from there, as soon as you let Zach Wheeler off the hook like that in that spot, you know you're not going to cash in on him throughout this game. That was your lone opportunity to do anything against Zach Wheeler, and the Mets can't cash in. And then you got Brandon Nimmo on second with the double in the 5th inning, and Juan Soto goes down swinging. This has been awful. Just absolutely one of the worst 7-game losing streaks that I feel like I've watched in a long time. One of the worst losing streaks I've watched in a long time. It's everything. The Mets aren't playing well. The other teams look like they're playing out of their minds against us. And every single break is going to the opponent. Balls just finding grass in the outfield. Just every single duck fart and bloop and flare is falling in against this team. And I can't take it anymore. I am losing my mind. This has been horrible. All right, let's see. Back to the chat. Everyday Mets, God damn it. Yep. Aaron Conway, it's because they put the pride flag up for the national anthem. I'm not going to touch that one. Nico, Aaron, you're right about Aaron Conway. It's everything. It literally is everything, like I was just saying. Steve Sorensen. So, Steve, appreciate the super chat. Thank you once again. Asked him what number he would wear as a reliever. Number 66 for Mario Lemieux. He was your favorite player back from cancer. Hugely inspirational for him. All right, very cool. Mets, Pens, Knicks, and Steelers fan ever since a kid. So at least you've gotten to see a couple championships there with the Pens and with the Steelers. I, as a Mets, Jets, and Knicks fan, live an absolutely horrible, miserable sports fan life. It's really not something I would ever recommend. I've always said this. If I do ever have kids in the future, I will not make them be both a Mets and a Jets fan. I will make them pick one, though. They have to choose either the Mets or the Jets as their teams. And the reason is because it builds character. It humbles you. It teaches you life lessons that you may not always get what you want. In fact, more often than not, with our teams, you don't get what you want. So I will make my kids pick one of those teams for sure. But that is cool, Steve, that you have that for you with Mario Lemieux and the Pens and the Steelers. So very nice. And I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. Guys, it's brutal. Things are going awful right now. What do you guys think is the biggest thing that is plaguing this team right now? I really, truly think that despite giving up 10 runs tonight, that it is the Mets lineup. That the Mets lineup continues to just flounder, continue to send out guys like Jared Young and Brett Beatty and Ronnie Mauricio, who bring zero value to this team. They don't score at all for the starters, and they don't continue to add on when they do score, and it is too much pressure on this pitching staff. A pitching staff that was nearly perfect for the first 2 months of the season has been showing many cracks in its foundation, part because of injury, part because of performance just coming back to the norm. But I really do believe that this lineup is the biggest reason for that, because they are not supporting the pitching staff. There is never a moment to breathe as a starting pitcher or as a reliever for this team right now, because it is constantly a 1-run game, a 2-run game, a tie ball game. They're trailing by a run or two because the lineup just simply has not lived up to the expectations. It's just been such a tough stretch for this team right now. Let's see. Logged Off Gaming, positive view: to lose 7 in a row and be 1 game out is not as bad as when we turn it around. It's baseball, anything's possible. That is a positive view. I will give you that. And the same for D-Rails. He says this is a part of baseball. It is. I do daily Mets content. So what I bring to you guys is my feelings about every single game. And I do try to put it into the entire vacuum of a 162 game season. But there are things that I was concerned with even before this 7-game losing streak. And they have really reared their ugly head here during this stretch. And so when I come to you guys, I don't ever say the season's over or anything like that. But I do tell you exactly how I'm feeling right now here in this moment. So don't get any ideas that I'm writing the Mets off. I'm just saying right now, this play is unacceptable. The players they're putting out there in certain spots is unacceptable. And if they don't turn it around very soon, and I mean like tomorrow very soon, they're going to continue to dig themselves a deeper and deeper hole that is only going to be more difficult to get themselves out. So thank you all for tuning in, guys. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to do that. Be sure to leave this stream a like. It really goes a long way to helping the channel. I'm a broken record, I know, but I got to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Thank you to D-Rails, Logged Off Gaming, for hopping in. Thank you to Nico. Yeah, I do believe we have the call-in working. So if you guys do want to call in and be a part of the show, you could do that at the Discord link. That is in the description below. So just go to that link on Discord. I'll put you into the waiting room here, and then I'll pop you in, and you can say your piece, have your little rant, say whatever it is you want about the Mets right now in their current state. Just ask that you keep it PG-13, the swearing to a minimum. Ass is okay. You can definitely say that, but outside of that, we'll try to keep all the cuss words and everything out. Let's see. Steve Sorensen gives us character and humbles us in reference to being Mets fans. Absolutely, especially as a Jets fan and a Knicks fan myself. Yes, I got enough character for enough people, okay? I don't need any more character. How about some winning now? That would be nice from one of our 3 teams. Going to the 7 line in Pittsburgh with your dad. I've not been to PNC Park. I really would like to do that one of these days. One of the most beautiful, honestly, probably the most beautiful park in baseball from what I can see on TV. And then probably right up there with whatever they call the stadium out in San Francisco now. It used to be, I'll always call it Pac Bell Park, where the Giants play, right over on the McCovey Cove. Robert Lupinacci, it's time to fire the hitting coach. It's been time to fire the hitting coaches. I mean, what does Eric Chavez do? I don't know, but this lineup looks so lethargic. They go up to the plate and it looks like they have absolutely no plan whatsoever. Take strike 1, take strike 2, flail out a slider in the opposite batter's box. I don't understand the philosophy that Eric Chavez and Jeremy Barnes are instilling on this team, because this is a lineup that on paper should be one of the best in all of baseball. And on a night-to-night basis, it's like watching and getting a tooth extraction. It's like getting a root canal, begging this team to score runs. And even tonight, they get 2 solo homers off former Met cast-off Taijuan Walker, who's not even good enough to be in the Phillies rotation anymore. So, not all too impressive. D-Rails, I think that the Mets fans are overreacting. I love your channel, bro. D-Rails, I appreciate you, man. You're always in here. Appreciate that very much. I mean, look, it's hard not to overreact to a 7-game losing streak given who it's against, okay? Like, if the Mets were doing this against, like, obviously it started with Tampa, but let's say it was Tampa and then it was Kansas City and the Phillies and the Braves were just kind of like playing like, you know, treading water. Okay, but we know this is a big stretch right now. I know it's only midseason, but this is like midterms in college, right? These count for grades too. Like, it'd be nice to be showing a little more life than we are right now. Let's not forget, this team has the highest payroll in all of baseball. They just paid Juan Soto nearly $1 billion. Last year, we're in Game 6 of the NLCS. And I'm sorry, but I don't see many World Series teams have 7-game losing streaks and look as lethargic and despondent as this group of Mets has dating back to last Friday. And it's only magnified by the glut of injuries that they have right now in the starting rotation. With the scrap heap pitchers that they've been throwing out there for the bullpen, that they have been basically having, I'm telling you, Uber must be making a killing off of the New York Mets, transporting guys up and down from Syracuse to Queens. Because it seems every other day, the Mets have to make a transaction to bring a new arm up so that they have enough guys that can throw a 9-inning game. Like, there's something right now that is not going right about this team. And it's hard to just ignore these problems if you're me. I watch every game. I watch every inning. I come on here after every single game. And it's hard not to be affected by it. But it is baseball. This is 7 of 162. I'm not good at math, but that's probably like, what, 1.5% of the season. So in the grand scheme of things, yes, you're correct about that, D-Rails. We are probably overreacting, but we're in the moment now. And this is just how I feel. And until they start getting back to winning and playing a better brand of baseball, and there are some additions made and they start getting healthier again, I'm not going to change the way I'm viewing it right now. Let's see. Logged Off Gaming highlight of the season will be Alonso beating the Strawberry home run record. I really hope that's not the only highlight of the season. That would be massively disappointing considering the Mets were 21 games over 500 and had a 5.5 game lead in the division. So I still believe the Mets are going to win the NL East. I do. But right now, if they continue to play the way they are now, it goes without saying that will not be the case. I watched this game, obviously, from start to finish. And once they started to blow us out, like, okay, it's easy to say, wow, the Phillies look a lot better than the Mets. But I got to be honest. The Mets at full strength, if they have Kodai Senga pitching tonight, if they have Sean Manaea, who is pitching the way he did in the second half of last year, I don't think this is a good Phillies team. They dinked and dimed the Mets to death to get to that 4-2 lead. Other than that, it was an RBI ground out, a dink, and then it was a double. Okay, that gave them the 3-2 lead, and then another dink opposite field single to make it 4-2. And from there, the floodgates open. But I don't think this is a good Phillies team. I'm sorry, you're not going to convince me otherwise. I said it last year before the NLCS to my buddies. The Phillies don't scare me. The Phillies don't scare me. They still don't scare me. But tonight, they laid it on us. They whooped that ass. But the Mets are obviously shorthanded, and we'll see when we get back to full health. But the Mets are not playing a good brand of baseball right now. Blame the roster, blame the manager, blame the players. Could be a mix of all of those things, but I really still truly believe the Mets will win the National League East. But the way things are going right now, oof, it is not great. It is not pretty at all. Let me just get to a few more of these chats, and then we got some people waiting in the call-in room, so I'll hop you into the chat. Robert Lupinacci, I'm sorry, but this team couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat, yep, or the broadside of a barn for that matter. Derails, the 1986 Mets and 88 Yankees lost 8 in a row. Ooh, I didn't realize the 86 Mets did. Okay, but let's be honest. Like, do you look at this roster and think they're as good as the 1986 Mets roster? Because I don't think that's the case. So it's different, but I hear you. It happens. It happens to the best of them, but I don't like it. How's that? I don't like this at all. I've been having a miserable week all week because of the Mets losing streak. Okay? There, I said it. I'm a baby. I'm a mental midget. Steve says, here's some positivity. Minaya had a decent start in Syracuse. Just came back from Syracuse. Absolutely. Very cool. Happy to hear about Minaya having a strong rehab assignment. He is due to come back the first week of July. Far longer rehab process than we thought for Minaya. When he first went down in spring training, we were thinking it was going to be the end of May. And here we are now in the middle of June, and he is scheduled to come back at the beginning of July. So hopefully Minaya is able to come back and replicate what he did in the second half of the season. The Mets desperately need him at the top of the rotation right now. Robert Lubinacci, this team better do something at the trade deadline or I'm done. I mean, I don't know. There's no one player that fixes this. That is why I'm calling on David Stearns to go out and start making acquisitions now. They don't need to be big, splashy moves, but we don't need to watch Garza pitch anymore. We don't want to watch Jared Young be the DH for this team anymore. There need to be some additions for this team. You have lost Siri, you have lost Winker, you have lost Vientos, you have lost AJ Minter, you have lost Danny Young, you have lost Max Kranick, you have lost Kodai Senga, and you have lost Tyler McGill. How many more injuries before we just say, it's time to start going out and making some additions to this roster? Because clearly the guys that we've been calling up from the minor leagues are not getting the job done. Absol, sorry. Last one was on July 12th, which was last Friday. Mets going to be in third place by August. Sorry for the negativity, but they are playing like they deserve last place. Well, there's no doubt about that. There's nothing false about your statement there. Absol, the Mets are absolutely playing like a last place team. I do believe they will turn it around, but I keep saying that and saying that and saying that, and it's yet to happen yet. And it needed to happen yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. And I don't see the end to this losing streak in sight. Another tough matchup tomorrow. They got Nick Abel on the mound for the Phillies, young rookie who has been really solid for them this year. And then after that, Jesus Luzardo, who hasn't been great his last two starts, but his first 10 of the season was fantastic. Meanwhile, you got Griffin Canning trying to bounce back from two bad starts his last two times out. And I'm very concerned that the Mets could be looking at 3 consecutive sweeps and starting this 10-game stretch with the Phillies and with the Braves at 0-6. It's a very realistic possibility at this point. All right, so let's go to the phone lines. We got our first caller up here. It is Nico. Nico, what is going on, man? No, Nico. No?
Yeah.
There we are. What's up, man? How's it going? You're online.
It's going good. Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear. What's on your mind?
I'm just not happy right now.
All right. Well, what's your biggest takeaway then from this game here?
I mean, I'm at a sleepover right now, so I didn't have a chance to watch the game, but I think I'm just shocked we gave up 7 runs in 1 inning.
Yeah, it was 6 runs in the 7th inning. I mean,
Oh God.
Reed Garrett just couldn't do anything. He's been terrible lately. He doesn't even record an out in this one. He ends up getting charged with 3 earned runs on 3 hits and a walk. Reed Garrett's been a big problem for this team lately, for sure. But
oh God.
So the Mets only scored 2 runs in this game tonight. What do you think is the biggest problem with this Mets lineup right now?
I think we need to get rid of guys like you said earlier, Jaron Young, Brett Beatty, and that pitcher, I can't remember his name.
Sure. And I mean, you can't just get rid of guys without having a replacement. So off the top of your head here, who would be the guys that you'd like to see, whether they're in the minor leagues right now or through a trade with another team?
I think when Vientos gets back from injury, we'll obviously put him at third, and same with like Mania, Senga. But with trades, you have to give me more time to think than off the top of my head. So
Absolutely.
On the Discord, I'll say like trades.
Absolutely. All right, Nico, good call. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I mean, look, this team hopefully gets healthy and, we get the ball rolling. And then there also still need to be some outside acquisitions. I like to put Vientos at DH and get a starting third baseman. I've said it many times. Suarez, maybe you get McMahon from Colorado. I think that there's a lot of improvements that need to be made for this roster, not just the lineup, but all over. Bullpen, starting pitching as well. Let's go to our next caller. And who is it here? We got our man. Is this Steve here? I just see S. ... You are on air. Nope, you popped out. Come back here. S dot dot dot. You are on the air right now. What is going on, my man? Nope, you keep popping out, so I can't get you on. Sorry, bud. If you want to try again, I got you in there still, but every time I pull you into the call on, you keep popping out. So stay where you are, and if you do, you'll be able to speak. Let's try one more time. S dot dot, you're out. All right, man. Sorry, we tried, but look, guys, it's been an ugly 7-game stretch. The Mets need to get healthy, and they need to be really thinking about making some additions to this roster, because right now, the way things are going, I don't think that they can withstand this stretch of not having Jesse Winker, of not having guys like Siri, and with Vientos down still, with the rotation and the flux that it is in, with Kodai Senga, a notoriously slow healer, with Sean Manaea and Montas coming back from their rehab assignments, just beginning their seasons this year. They're basically going to be in the same version of what opening day is, where they're only going to probably be able to go a max of 5 innings per game. And that is just going to tax this bullpen even more, which has been really, really bad lately. So, look, lots of moves that I think need to be made. S, I'm going to try you one more time. You're in the call-in room. I'm dragging you in, and you should now be on air. Let's give it one more shot. S, what is going on? Nope, I'm sorry, but I don't know why, but it keeps popping you out here, and I think it's got something to do with your end. But I really would like to try to get you on. Guys, if you do want to join the show, go over to my Discord link. That is in the description below, and we will hop you in, and you could say anything you'd like about the Mets, within reason, of course. But if you want to say they look like a shit show right now, perfectly acceptable by me, because that is the truth. Let's go back to the chat here. Logged Off Gaming. Philly, 1 touchdown and a field goal. Mets a safety. Yeah, looks just like the Mets, or just like the Jets playing the Eagles these days. I don't even want to touch the Giants. They're just a sad case. So tough times for the football teams in New York, but honestly, not a whole lot better for the baseball teams right now, especially the Mets. 7-game losing streak. I don't know the exact numbers on it. I wish we were watching SNY, because they would have known the last 7-game losing streak for the Mets. I don't even think in all of their horrible time in the first half of 2024 that the Mets had a 7-game losing streak. And here we are with all these expectations after being 21 over, and the Mets here in 2025 are on a 7-game losing streak. So really, really rough time. But let's go to the box score. I still got a caller in the waiting room. I don't know why we can't get that working for you there. I don't even know your full name. It just says S dot dot dot. So if you're still watching, man, I would say stay in there and we can give it another shot. But I think every time I'm pulling you into the show, you're pulling yourself back out. So if you are doing that, I would say just don't touch anything and we can make it work. I'm going to give it one shot here while I still pull this box score up. Let's see if we can do it. And no. I think nope. Every time I start to speak, you pop right out, man. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, whatever. Let's see. Logged Off Gaming. I have faith in Manaea and Montas. You don't feel so good about. Yeah, I mean, what would inspire you at all about Montas? The guy has not had really great career numbers over the last several seasons with Cincinnati and with Milwaukee. Didn't pitch well with the Yankees a couple years ago, and then he starts this year injured and has an ERA in double digits during his minor league rehab assignment. So not super positive feelings toward Frankie Montas right now. But I also look at it as like, hey, this is basically his version of spring training. I'm not going to put too much weight into it, but once he gets to this big league roster, man, it's going to be quick to judge for me, because I don't have much patience for anybody on this team right now, honestly. Jose Lopez Moya, what's up, man? Welcome. This is the end result of having an overworked and heavily taxed bullpen. By the way, I don't like the way Itchy Finger Mendoza handles the pitching staff. Yeah. So Jose, first of all, pointing out the very clear and obvious, and that is that this bullpen has been overtaxed and overworked from opening day. And you're used to that for the first month of the season because pitchers aren't stretched out, so your starters don't go as late into games. But this really has been the theme the entire season. And it was Huascar Brazaban and Reed Garrett to the rescue for the first 2 months of the season. And we were throwing these guys parades, and they were getting us out of jams, and they had some of the lowest ERAs in all of baseball. But now attrition is catching up to them, and the Mets are losing ball games because of their bullpen's inability to hold down leads or keep games close. And part of it, yeah, you give the blame to guys like Garrett and Brazoban, but part of it, again, is because starting pitchers not going deep into games, starters getting hurt, requiring us to throw bullpen games, and guys like Blade Tidwell today. And then the lineup, just simply not ever scoring enough runs, not ever giving this pitching staff breathing room and a little chance to get eased in to a game. So we got another caller in here. Let's try this one. Eddie, you are on the air. What is going on, Eddie? Requiring us to throw bullpen games and guys like Blade Tidwell today. And then the lineup, just enough runs, not ever giving this pitching staff breathing room and a little chance to get eased in to a game. So all right, Eddie, going once. Eddie, going twice.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you there, Eddie. What is going on, my man? You are on the Yep, Eddie, you are online. What is going on, my man? We got you. We got you, Eddie. Can you hear us? Last time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Can you hear us, Eddie? And Eddie is out. Okay, well, this is not going off as easily as I thought it was going to. It worked really well with you, Nico, so I'm not sure why I'm having trouble with these other two callers that we've had to try and bring them in. But Eddie, if you want to give it a shot again, be more than happy to see if we can make it happen again. If you do want to join the show, you can call in on the Discord. The link to that is in the description below, and hopefully we will have more luck. I was getting some pretty bad reverb on that from your speaker, Eddie, but if you want to give it another shot, please do. Would love to make this happen. Let's see, D-Rels. I love Lindor, but when he is bad, he is terrible. 100% D-Rels. Hit the nail on the head, man. The team goes as Lindor goes. It's been this way since 2021. We are really, really rolling when Lindor is rolling. But when he is slumping the way that he is, I mean, there's just no middle ground. The Mets look horrible when Lindor's not hitting. Another hitless game. This is now 4 consecutive games without a hit. I don't know what the numbers are. I know that in the Braves series, he was 0 for 11. I believe he went 0 for 3 tonight. It might have been 0 for 4. So what is this now? At least 15, 16 at-bats going back to Tuesday. Hitless for Francisco Lindor. It has just been absolutely atrocious. Really brutal. Jose Lopez, what the hell is going on here? Lindor laughing after looking at the silly strikeout had a veneer. Yeah, if he's going to be the captain, he's got to take matters seriously. I agree. I was more upset with the way he was laughing things off with Acuna yesterday at second base while the Mets were about to get swept by the Braves. The strikeout one, I don't really know. I mean, it doesn't seem to bother me as much as with him joking with a rival on the base paths. But I hear you there, Jose. Nico, apparently I'm lucky. Yeah, well, we're going to try Eddie again here. Eddie, let's get you in here. Eddie, you are on the show. What is going on, my man? What's on your mind? The strikeout one, I don't really know. I mean, it doesn't seem to bother me as much as with him joking with a rival on the base paths. But I hear you there, Jose. All right, Eddie, how about now? Can you hear us? Because I got you on mute and I'm hitting the reverb off of you.
Can you hear me now?
We got you, Eddie. What is going on, my man?
Okay. I've been a Mets fan since 69, 73. Eddie Claypool, my favorite Met. I'm Eddie. He's Eddie. So I've been around a while. Okay. First problem we got.
First problem? What is it?
First problem we got is we don't have a catcher. We need a catcher that can play 2 or 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row, and have command of the diamond. Okay? We've got pitchers now in decision because the catchers are in and out of there. We don't have our Gary Carter. We don't have our Jerry Grody. We don't have that guy anymore. Okay? Number 2, very sad because Tidwell looked good tonight. I'm very optimistic about this here kid tonight to win. He's a big, strong body. He got a strong arm. He's starting to get a little gutsy. I like this kid that pitched tonight early on. I think he's going to be in the rotation one day. I love him. He's good. Mendoza has got to get some emotion going over there. Okay, I can't take the folded arms over the bar there. Just never see. This guy reminds me of another guy. Just like the New York Jets. He sits over there. He doesn't show any emotion. No passion. I'm having a real problem with this. Okay, somebody got to step up. And the other thing is here. Why is Lindor untouchable? Why not move him down? Put McNeil up first. McNeil's been hot. Put him up front there at first. What, we can't touch Lindor if he's going over here? Come on. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, no, great call, Eddie. I appreciate it. So let me ask you this real quick, and then I'm going to touch on some of the other stuff. But you said you don't like that you're not seeing any emotion out of Carlos Mendoza. But would you feel the same way if the Mets were winning? Would that still be an issue for you? Because I feel like that's probably the least of the team's problems. But do you think that he doesn't get on these players?
I got to be honest with you. I watch his press conferences, okay? He always had excuses, even when Soto wasn't hustling. I'm sorry. I like Carlos Mendoza. I think he's going to be here for a while. I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm saying he was a bench coach, okay, with the Yankees. I'd like to see him step up and have a more prominent role, okay? And if you're going to come out of the dugout and argue, I don't know, maybe he needs to get thrown out of the game. I don't know. Sometimes it helps, you know what I'm saying? Come out and let me see your jugular vein. One time, let me see your jugular vein in somebody's face. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I'm with you. I like it. Great call, Eddie. Really appreciate you making it. I'm with you. You know, sometimes you get a manager ejected from a game and it could jumpstart your team. It could get everybody in that clubhouse fired up just to know that their manager is in their corner and he is willing to do whatever it takes to win a ball game. I do think that Mendoza is a good manager. I do think, yeah, at times he could be a little too even-keeled. Usually, yeah, you want that from your head coach, your manager, your leader. But yeah, I could see a little more emotion, especially in a time like right now, might be a good call. As far as moving Francisco Lindor out of the leadoff spot, I mean, at this point, you know, it's like Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong with this team right now is going wrong. And I'm open to anything. So if they want to move Lindor out of the leadoff spot to get him going, like I said, 0 for 11 in the series against Atlanta, another 0 for today in the opener against the Phillies. I am here for it. And great point there by Eddie. Putting Jeff McNeil into the leadoff spot. Maybe not such a bad idea with how well he has been going lately, but something needs to get this lineup jump started because they have just been pitiful lately and it's just infuriating to watch. So really great call there from Eddie. One more thing he touched on was the catcher situation. Terrens with the base hit today. Happy to see that. You know what? I actually saw some emotion out of Terrens after those two runners came across and scored on the same, basically the same moment at home plate. I actually saw him kind of throw the ball, spike it into the ground a little bit. I actually really appreciated seeing that from Luis Terrens. So I don't think we have the true backstop of the future, but baseball is just not really the same game anymore as it was when you had the Gary Carters and the Jerry Grody. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that I don't think it's as much of a priority. You can get leadership from different positions on your diamond and be okay. But I hear you. At the end of the day, I want my catcher to hit well, to throw out base runners, and to block balls in the dirt. But lately, not been the case with Francisco Alvarez at all. Guys, again, phone lines are open. If you want to hop in like we just had Eddie and like we had Nico before, go down to the link below in the description to my Discord. You can hop in there and then I will put you live here on the air with me and we could talk things up. I still have you there in my chat there, S. I'm going to try to bring you in one more time here, but it just doesn't seem to work. You keep popping out. But if anybody else does want to join the show, go to the Discord link in the description below, and you will have your chance to say anything you'd like to about the Mets. Again, keeping it PG-13, hopefully. I appreciate it very much. But it's a tough game for the Mets. It's a tough week for the Mets that only gets worse. 10-2 loss to the Phillies. They have started this 10-game stretch with the Braves and with Philadelphia 0-4. That coming on the heels of getting swept by the Tampa Bay Rays at home. So when it rains, it absolutely pours. That is how it has been for the last week for the New York Mets. Let's go back to the chat over here. D-Rouse, I love Lindor, but when he's bad, he's bad. We already touched on that one. Nico, whenever Lindor goes in a slump, the entire team goes in a slump and the pitchers can't pitch. Exactly. I mean, it's just weird how Lindor is the motor of this team. And it's not even just the lineup. It's seemingly the pitching staff as well. It's just been top to bottom. If it's not the rotation one day, it's the bullpen. If it's not the bullpen or the rotation, it's the lineup. So it's been a really, really just bad stretch from top to bottom for the Mets here over the last week. Logged Off Gaming, the home plate ump was trash. Oh my goodness. The home plate umpire was horrible tonight. Wasn't giving the inside on righties, was giving it to the lefties, wasn't giving the outside the other way around. Wayne Randazzo was going on and on and on about the non-call for Brandon Nimmo right before he hit that double to extend the top of the fifth inning. Meanwhile, during Juan Soto's at-bat, the first two strikes on him were clearly at least 2 inches inside and should not have been strikes. So the guy was, to me, in my opinion, giving the calls to Philly all night long. Not that I'm making excuses. I'm just saying that home plate umpire was horrible. That is a umpire scorecard that I will want to check out at some point because he had a brutal game behind the plate. Jose Lopez Moya, Cheapskate Stearns can't waste this coming trade deadline like he did last year, getting cheap, low-tier players, a good starter, a good reliever, and a bat like Jared Duran. Jared Duran is the favorite of the month. Mets fans want Duran on the Mets. At this point, man, the further and further the Mets are like struggling right now, especially offensively, the more and more I'm getting convinced that, you know what, maybe the Mets need to pull the trigger on it. My fear, though, is that this becomes 2021 again, where the Mets sold out for Javi Baez. They got him for 6 months. They didn't make the playoffs. Epic fail of the season. And now Pete Crow Armstrong is blossoming into a superstar for the Chicago Cubs. So I don't want to go out there and make a blockbuster deal for a player unless I know they are here for a extended period of time and that the Mets truly are an NL East championship caliber team, a World Series caliber team. I don't want to mortgage the future, give up on a big player like the Mets did 4 years ago with PCA. But the more and more they continue to struggle, the more I believe, yeah, it's going to take something like that. It's going to take a whole flurry of moves for the bullpen, for the rotation, for the bench, and probably another starting position player. I've been on record saying this. The Mets need a starting third baseman. Put Mark Vientos at DH. That solves that issue. Jesse Winker's still a very valuable bat off the bench that you can get in there. You can't even really truly count on Vientos to be who he was last year in this lineup based on the struggles he had the first 2 months of this year and now the injury. So it's not as if Winker will never get opportunities to play if that's the case. But I think they need a starting third baseman. I really, truly do. And honestly, if it's not third base, then I'd be looking at left field. And I'd be thinking about having Brandon Nimmo DH a couple times a week while you get whoever that outfielder is in the field. Because the Mets clearly are lacking at least one more bat in this lineup. Another brutal night. 0 for 7 or 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. They leave 7 more men on base. Meanwhile, the Phillies go 6 for 15 with runners in scoring position tonight. Could you imagine the Mets going 6 for 15 with runners in scoring position? I would have to wake myself up from a dream. That would be the wet dream of all wet dreams. The Mets going 6 for 15 with runners in scoring position? What? I couldn't even believe it's real. No shot. Let's see. Jose Lopez says Mendoza needs to take the bull by the horns and bench Lindor for a game to get through his head that this series is very important. Now, that would be a statement. You know, you had Eddie on air a couple minutes ago saying he wants to see some more fire out of Carlos Mendoza. That would be a statement to bench Francisco Lindor. I don't think that's the right move because the Mets can barely score as it is, and partly because Lindor's been hitting so poorly, but I don't think taking him out of the lineup is going to help that bottom line for the Mets. But I hear what you're saying. You know, we saw him kind of laughing and joking around with Acuna yesterday on second base. He's kind of giggling after the strikeout today. I think after the strikeout today, he was more giggling and laughing at himself for kind of getting fooled. Didn't realize it was going to be a certain pitch that it ended up being one. So I think it was more laughing at himself than anything. So I'm not going to criticize Lindor for that one tonight. But I can't see the Mets sitting Lindor in the middle of the street. The only reason you would do that is if his toe is actually worse than it truly is, but I just don't think that's the case. I mean, he came back in the Rocky series immediately after, had the game-winning double in that one. He's played every game pretty much since then outside of, I think it was last Sunday against Tampa Bay. I think Lindor physically is fine, but clearly is slumping big time at the plate right now. Again, guys, lines are open. If you want to get into the call, then you can just hop onto my Discord. The link to that is in the description below. And if you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe. I do daily Mets content, post-game recap after every single Mets game, and be sure to leave this stream a like. Really goes a long way toward helping out the channel. I appreciate all of you guys in here right now. Tough loss for the Mets. What do you got to say? Nico, got to go. See you, man. Appreciate you being in. Thanks for calling in. I can't even say your name, man. The Killer Me? Kilrmy? I don't even know how to say that. Mets won't win when their 6 through 9 hitters are career 222 40 hitters. They won't suddenly become what they have never been. I mean, man, I've been saying this all year. I even just said it today in one of the videos I posted both here on YouTube and on TikTok. You also can follow me on TikTok if you want to. Link to that is in the description below as well. But the 6 through 9 of this lineup has just been brutal ever since Jesse Winker went down, ever since Mark Vientos went down. Tonight, it was Jared Young, who actually had a base hit in his first at bat, but 1 for 4. Guy is hitting 161 with a 622 OPS on the year. Luis Torrens had 2 knocks in this one. I never feel bad about Torrens being one of those 6 through 9 hitters. I also don't feel bad about Tyrone Taylor typically being one of those guys because the stellar defense and usually always finds a way to impact a game positively. But 0 for 4, he's hitting 233 on the year. And then my absolute favorite New York Met. If you guys are new to the channel, let me tell you all about my favorite New York Met of all time. Third baseman, you guys probably know him, right? One of the best third basemen the Mets have ever had suit up in the orange and blue, Brett Baty. Well, guys, after that cute little 2-week stretch where we all convinced ourselves that Brett Baty had officially arrived, he had put all of the struggles in the past behind him, Brett Baty has turned into a pumpkin once again. 213 on the season, much closer in line to what he has done for his entire career. I believe he's a 208 hitter in his major league career. So he's actually bumping it up a little bit. He's at 213 this year, 670 OPS, and he takes another 0 for 4 today with a strikeout. If I have to say it once, I will say it a million times. Brett Baty is not a major league baseball player. Okay? Send him off to Chicago. I could see him becoming a guy that hits 10 home runs and hits 220 for them. It ain't going to happen here. I'm done with Brett Baty. It's time. It's been long overdue. Back to the chat. Explosive diarrhea. I mean, I'm a child. Explosive diarrhea. D-Rels Lindor might need an IL stint. I don't know. I feel like if he needed an IL stint, we would have known that by now and it would have already happened. So really would be weird if now, basically almost 3 weeks after that injury in Los Angeles, the Mets decide, yeah, actually his toe's not as good as we thought. That would be very Ray Ramirez 2010 Mets very kind of vibes right there. So I hope that's not the case. That would be a big issue on my end. Explosive diarrhea. He could use one mentally and physically just to take a few days off. Tidwell looked decent tonight. Yeah, I mean, Tidwell didn't look terrible. He didn't look great. Couldn't command his breaking stuff whatsoever. He was pretty erratic for the most part, but he's got some good life on that fastball. When he throws it high in the zone and it's actually close enough that he's going to get pitch hitters to chase it, he looks like he's got some pretty good stuff. He's not polished, and that could come with time. Eddie said he really likes him. He thinks he's going to be in the rotation one day. I can see it happening. I can see him being a bullpen guy, but clearly didn't have great command of his breaking stuff today. But only a second big league start. Pretty tough one. Didn't expect it, obviously. The Mets probably told him on Thursday night. So it's not a very easy ballpark to have to go to while the first place is on the line. So Tidwell did pretty well, in my opinion, despite only giving us 3 2/3. I'm sure that was kind of the plan. I'm sure it was probably going to be 4 innings, maybe 5 innings if he was absolutely cutting through the Phillies lineup, which he wasn't, but he did a very good job to manage the damage. Manage the damage. It rhymes. Let's see. Logged Off Gaming. Steve Sorensen says, actually, bring up Drew Gilbert. Yeah, Drew Gilbert is obviously a potential call-up. You know, the guy has been on the team or in the minor league system with the Mets ever since they acquired him from the Astros in the Justin Verlander trade. So let's actually take a look at Drew Gilbert's stats right here. We're going to go to minorleaguebaseball.com and we're going to switch to our desktop stream. And how about that, ladies and gentlemen? We have got a little thing going on here. So Drew Gilbert so far this year in Syracuse with the Mets, a 240 average, but a 355 OBP. That's what I like to see right there, ladies and gentlemen. 355 OBP, a 747 OPS. He's got 6 bombs, 32 ribbies. You know what? Why not at this point? It can't be any worse than Drew Gilbert. Or I'm sorry, it can't be any worse than Jared Young. You know, we're talking about a 24-year-old now. He was a pretty highly touted prospect, former first-round pick by the Astros in 2022 out of, I think he was a 10. He came from Tennessee. That's right. So I am all about it. Look, I am ready to do whatever it takes to not have to see Jared Young and Brett Baty take at bats for the Mets anymore. So look, I don't want to stunt the growth of any of our young players, but I also fully realize that Jared Young is not a major league player. Brett Baty has had a million chances. He's like a cat with 9 lives, and it's time to move on. So I am all for bringing Drew Gilbert up. I like that call right there from you. Let's go back over to our live stream here. And we got to turn this off. Boom. And yeah, the stream is not loving this from me. I'm trying to do too much and it's not loving it too much from me, but we're trying, folks. We're trying to do a lot of stuff over here. Okay, here we go. Hey, we're back. Guys, what is going on? Appreciate you all tuning in. Tough loss again, 7 in a row. I'm a broken record at this point. I don't know what else to say except that I want to shove my head inside a wood chipper because this sucks. This sucks so bad. Just embarrassed. Embarrassed out of Atlanta. 6 runs for the Phillies tonight in a 2-2 game in the bottom of the 7th inning, capped off by a 2-run shot from Castellanos to make it 10-2. Zach Wheeler carves up the Mets lineup. It's just like the perfect recipe for making me want to jump off the top of my building. I'm just kidding. That's no joke. Let's see. Logged off game and breaking news. Soto gives Cohen $500 million to go back to the Bronx. Eesh, oh my God. Could you imagine if you were actually proposed to with that? What would you do? What would you do as a Mets fan? About 500. No, you'd have to give the full contract back. The full contract back. No, of course not. Soto's going to be fine. Soto's going to be fine. He still drew 2 walks today, but it's just the big spots. I mean, they're pitching him tough, though, it seems like, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased against him now, and I want to protect Soto at all costs, and I want this contract to work. But I just feel like, man, the guy's always getting just pitches right on the black. I mean, just really nasty stuff against him. But he's also too patient sometimes. I know it's a part of his game, but Soto, we need a bomb here. We need a double, like not a walk. Do something. You're taking so many pitches. Let's see. Jose Lopez said, Steve Sorensen, get some guys in Binghamton, killing it, move up to Syracuse. Yeah, so obviously Jonah Tong leads all of minor league baseball in strikeouts this year, so that might be a good option. I think Tong is going to go to AAA. I don't think he will immediately make the jump to the big league roster, but I could see Tong getting called up very soon to Syracuse. I can't imagine that he's actually going to make it to the big leagues this year. Stern said it earlier in this season that he doesn't want to see his players struggle in AAA, but he will push them there maybe a little before they're actually ready to be at that level because he wants to see them make adjustments and adapt to the next level of play. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Jonah Tong pitching in the Syracuse Mets rotation within the next month or so. Jose Lopez says if the Mets pitching keeps on like this, they'll go limp into the postseason pitching wise. I mean, hey, see if they even make the postseason at this rate. I can't believe I'm saying that a week later now. I mean, but that's the truth. Like, we're out of first place. We're a game behind. I know the Braves are still 9 behind us, but like, we're not like far and away leaps and bounds ahead of all the National League teams anymore. We had the best record in the National League and in baseball at one point. That ain't the case anymore. But yeah, if the pitching keeps going like this and they do make the postseason, it's going to be a problem. But if the pitching keeps going like this, they may not even make October at this rate. So they got to get it turned around ASAP Rocky. Explosive diarrhea. Jose, no guarantee this team makes the... There you go, Jose. Or explosive, repeating exactly what I was just saying right there. I hate that profile picture you have, explosive diarrhea. The exorcism absolutely ruined my childhood. I can't even I gotta you're gonna have to change that profile picture, bro. That is killing me right there. Lots of season left, though. I agree with you right there. The kill me Mets are doing what the Mets are doing this season, what the Phillies did last season. Phillies started off historic and then played 500 ball the rest of the season, still won the division and then bounced early. Yeah, and so that speaks to the whole point that it is a long season. And I will say this, I'm glad that the Mets are getting all of this out of their system here in June and not in August or September heading toward October. Okay, so that is, in my opinion, the one silver lining to all of this is that they are getting this all out of their system now and not having it occur right before the postseason, should they be lucky enough to get there. It looks like we just had some big issues here on the stream. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if everything is still going smoothly for you guys, but hopefully it is. I could see some issues here on my YouTube, but hopefully everything is okay for you guys. I'm going to just take a peek at that real quick, but I see my old friend from Mets Weekly, Andrew Acevedo, the Rhino himself. You guys probably know him from Mets Weekly. My boy, what is going on? I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a long time on Mets Weekly, but hope that everything is going great for you, other than the fact that the Mets have probably made you want to go out and drink poison? Because that's how I'm feeling right now. Cyanide would also do the trick. So I will drop my address if you guys want to send me any of that in the mail, because at this point, that's how I'm feeling about this Mets team right now. Let's see. Steve Sorensen, Jonah Tong, Brandon Sproat, Jet Williams. Yeah, I think all those guys are probably going to get their shot in AAA this year. Honestly, Sproat's in AAA right now. Jet Williams and Tong are in AA Binghamton at the moment, but I definitely believe both of those two will go up to the Syracuse Mets at some point in the next couple of weeks, maybe mid to late July, and get their feet wet up there. Explosive Diarrhea. Mike Puma just posted a Met player told him in the clubhouse they will definitely win tomorrow. What? Okay, hold on. I got to see what he's talking about. So let me go back over to here and let's pull up Twitter and let's go to Mike Puma's account. We're struggling a little bit on the stream, guys. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you're not buffering or anything like that. It's definitely a trial and error kind of phase here with the stream, but I appreciate you guys all being in. I was told multiple times by one of the Mets players in the post-game clubhouse that the team will win tomorrow and that I should go to sleep tonight and dream of it. Now I have to figure out how to program that on my app with the Garden Rain White. Okay, shut up. You're not a funny guy at all. Like, you're such a weird, I can't stand Puma or any of the Mets. Anthony DiComo seems like the only guy on the Mets beat that I could actually see myself going out and getting a beer with. The rest of these guys are just such dorks. I call them worms. The writers, me having experience covering the Nebraska Cornhuskers, where I was the sports anchor for ABC here in Nebraska, I would go to all these press conferences and the writers are just a bunch of worms. They all have their little notepads and they're all hunched over. That's what Puma reminds me of. But okay, multiple times told by a Mets player in the post-game clubhouse that the team will win tomorrow and that he should go to sleep and dream about it. Okay, that is interesting. So let me hear you guys in the chat. Which player do you think it was? Which player told Mike Puma, basically Joe Namath thing, guaranteeing a win for the Mets tomorrow? In my opinion, I'm going to say, I think it was Francisco Lindor, if I'm being honest. I think it was Lindor. He's the captain of the team. My second guess would be Pete Alonso, because Pete just kind of says it seems like whatever is on his mind. So I could see it being one of those two guys. But who do you think on the Mets told Mike Puma that he was guaranteeing that the Mets would win tomorrow? That is really interesting. I've never seen a tweet like that from a beat writer before. Let's see. Steve Sorensen, shoot, bring up Luke Ritter. I'm not even really sure, to be honest, who Luke Ritter is, honestly. The Kirami outscored something like 51-14 during the losing streak. Soto's having a beast June. Yeah, he's having a pretty good June. It just seems like a lot of it was kind of skewed by the first week and a half or so. The same with Pete Alonso. The dude had like 19 RBIs on June 11th, but really hasn't done anything since like the first game of that Nats series, you know? I mean, and it's not just Pete. I'm not just calling him out. The entire lineup hasn't done anything. But Tong compared to the freak Tim Lincecum, yeah, with that big hook and that overhead delivery. Could you imagine if he ever lived up to what Tim Lincecum was? That would be insane. I'm pumped to see what Jonah Tong has when he does finally get to the big leagues. Lane Kerner, the Mets lost again. Yep, they did. Very good observation there. Steve Sorensen, LOL, when I can't sleep, I watch The Exorcist, one of my all-time favorites. Steve, what is going on in your mind that The Exorcist helps you sleep at night? Two movies that scarred me as a kid, The Exorcist and The Shining. Could never watch them again. The lady in the bathtub in The Shining, I swear, anytime I have accidentally stumbled upon that image or that clip, has just ruined me for the next week. I cannot sleep at night after seeing those images. So I don't know what is up with you guys in these horror movies, but Jose Lopez Moya, I'm the only one who said that when the Mets come back to Citi Field, they'll be 3 games out of first place behind the hated Phillies. Hey, not yet. I mean, look, the Mets could win tomorrow and they could win Sunday and they could leave Philadelphia with a 1-game lead in the National League East. Does anybody? No? Okay. Yeah, I'm not really expecting that either. But if the Mets get to just win one of these games, end the losing streak, you guarantee that you don't leave Philly any worse than 1 game behind. I will just be fine with it if we could put all of this terrible stretch behind us. I would be totally fine and sign up for the Mets just winning one of these next 2 games over the weekend to end this horrible losing streak and to at least only be 1 game behind the Phillies when they leave Philadelphia Sunday night. Can't believe this entire series is on national broadcast. Shoot me in the head right now. Tonight, Apple TV. Tomorrow, Fox. Sunday on Sunday Night Baseball. I can't. Oh my God. It is just insufferable listening to these national broadcasts. At least tonight was Wayne Randazzo. I was going to put Howie Rose on for the radio broadcast of it because you could sync it up, but Howie wasn't even in tonight. It was Keith Radd and some other guy, and I was like, whatever, I'll just listen to Dontrell Willis and Randazzo, but God, it was just the worst. Can't stand it. Let's see. Lane Kerner. Nope, sorry. We're up a little ahead here still. Breck, Shea, Burner. Are the Cardinals good? I think you're referring that to Andrew, but I'm not sure. The Cardinals are, playing a lot better than I thought they would this year. So good for the Cardinals, I guess. Not one that I think we need to be too concerned about. I think we've got enough fish to fry with the Phillies, and then obviously the Braves kind of coming back, although they did lose to the Marlins tonight. Shocker there. Couldn't believe that. Kind of a golden opportunity for the Mets to redeem some ground on both the Phillies and the Braves tonight, but unfortunately they crapped the bed once again. Let's see. Lane says, what is the news on Mark Vientos and Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas? So Mark Vientos began his rehab assignment with the Syracuse Mets on Thursday. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him return to the team when they are next to New York, either Monday or Tuesday. I'm assuming that it is Tuesday and there's an off day Monday. As far as Frankie Montas, he is set to join the rotation in this upcoming series against the Braves. And then Sean Manaea is expected to return to the big league roster the first week of July. By the way, the second edition of the Subway Series. So hopefully the Mets are playing better baseball than they are right now as they welcome the Yankees in for the second stint of the Subway Series. But that is the injury report on those three guys. Explosive Diarrhea says Puma is cringe like Martino. Yeah, Puma's just a weird old man. Martino is a weird, slightly less old man. Martino is a total Yankees fan who hates the Mets, loves to pick, just irritate us. Can't stand Martino. Terrible reporter, completely biased. For his role, he has to be unbiased. He's not. He's the worst. Lane says, do you send down Justin Garza? Yeah, I don't want Garza on this team, period. I never did, but he was a living, breathing body that can throw 94.5 miles per hour. So yeah, Mets had really no choice. That is why I'm screaming at David Stearns. Go out and get some other guys. It's time to start making some little tiny trades along the way to the trade deadline. They don't need to be Aroldis Chapman and all those types of arms right now, but there need to be some additions because Justin Garza and Kranick and Waddell and all these other dudes, it's just not going to cut it. And I actually should omit Kranick from that. He's actually even injured now. But my point is, when you have these guys, Ty Adcock pitching games for this team, Hageman pitching yesterday, the Mets need to start making some additions, and it should have started yesterday. So I'm putting the onus on David Stearns to make it happen and make it happen soon. Explosive Diarrhea, Alvarez, LOL. Lane Kerner, do you send down Alvarez? Well, you can't really send Alvarez down because he has enough service time at this point in his career, so he would have to accept a AAA assignment. The only option would be to give him a phantom injured list stint and then have him go and spend 2 weeks in AAA on a minor league rehab assignment, which I would love to do, but I don't see how Francisco Alvarez would be super stoked about doing that, considering he just had a newborn 2 weeks ago and probably still believes that he's a major league player. Right now, he's not at all. But I just don't really see it happening. I think it should have happened a while ago, but I just don't know. By the way, off topic, watching the next game on Apple TV, it's the Royals versus the Padres. The Royals wearing their powder blues, those are fire. They are sick. They got the paneled caps, the white with the crown logo, really sick. But what's making me sick is that Michael Lorenzen is dominating this game against the Padres. Not that I don't want to see the Padres lose, but man, I really wanted Michael Lorenzen this past year or two. The last 2 times that he was available, I was hoping the Mets would pick him up, but real solid pitcher. Royals leading that one 4-1 in this one right now. Let's go to Steve Sorensen as 50 Cent. I haven't actually checked Discord in a minute, so if anybody does want to join the show, you can still do that. go down to the link to Discord in the description below, and you can appear here live on air with me. I'll keep an eye on that if anyone does join the chat over here, and I will bring you in to join me on this video right now. But let's go back to the chat in the meantime. Steve Sorensen, as 50 Cent in a tweet once said, with X-rated stuff and a Knicks loss, go to bed tomorrow. It's gotta be a better day. Yeah, I don't know which tweet you're referring to, but if it's coming from 50, I believe it's probably poetic and 100% true. Lane says, do you call up Hayden Sanger and Kevin Parada? Kevin Parada has been just absolutely brutal pretty much since the Mets drafted him. I know he is on a little bit of a tear here recently. I think something over his last 15 games, has an OPS over 800, but I don't think the dude is major league ready. I don't think he's a guy that ever will be. If anything, if Alvarez does in fact ever go down for a minor league rehab assignment or for an injury, it will be Hayden Sanger. And I've been on record saying I am all about. Oh, there we go. Dolph Met. What's up, my man? Appreciate you subscribing. So there you go. Now you guys know when a new subscriber does something, you get your little Let's Go Mets jingle from WFAN. So appreciate you, Dolph Met. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, it would be Hayden Sanger coming up, and he was more than serviceable the first month and a half of the season as the backup to Luis Torrens while Alvarez was still recovering from that hand surgery. So I'd be totally okay with that. Let's see. Let's go to the Kill Me. He says, original Evil Dead messed me up as a kid. First movie ever to truly scare him. I've not seen The Evil Dead. I have seen clips of it, and I don't intend to ever watch that movie. Not for me. Not interested. Jose Lopez Moya, Siri was a silly acquisition, and Montas is a lousy one. Yeah, I mean, let's call it like it is. The additions, not including Juan Soto, although I'm sure you could probably poke some holes in that case as well, have not been very good this offseason from David Stearns. Let's go with the good first. Griffin Canning, obviously, has been fantastic until this little bit of a bump in the road for him recently. But then you got Frankie Montas, who has not started a game for the team yet. Then you have Jose Siri, who got injured in the third week of the season and has not since appeared for the team. So, yeah, I mean, David Stearns not having the very best offseason this year. There is another good one, though. You got to give him credit on Clay Holmes, despite obviously being a pretty tough outing yesterday against the Braves as they finished us off for the sweep. Let's see. Steve says, oh, The Shining is also a movie I watch when I can't sleep. I bought them on YouTube. Oh, man, you're crazy, man. George A. Romero, and Return of the Living Dead too. I don't get it, man. I never was into horror movies. I'm a scaredy cat, I guess, man. I was never into horror movies, much less falling asleep to them. So y'all are crazy to me. I don't get it. Jose says, national broadcast, cruel torture to any serious baseball fan, 100%. I can't stand it. At least Wayne Randazzo is a pro, so he does a good job. Dontrell Willis, how many times did Dontrell Willis speak in third person? How many times did Dontrell Willis say, oh, you got to give that to the D train? Yeah, give that to Dontrell. I was like, man, whoa, shut up. I'm so sick of you, man. Dontrell Willis is annoying, and I don't want to hear him anymore. Let's see. Lane says the Mets send down Ty. I'm sorry, a lot of spelling errors in this one. Send down Ty Adcock and Justin Hangeman. Yeah, they did, or are you saying they should? I'm not totally sure about that comment there, Lane. Jose says, Steve Cohen needs to hire an experienced advisor who would help with the acquisition of good pitchers, and the man is Pedro Martinez, hands down. Well, I mean, I think the Mets have a pretty good team of evaluators, and they have this pitching lab that has done a great job. I think we're hitting a mid-season lull, though. I mean, these guys have been worked really hard. There have been a lot of injuries now, and I think they're just hitting a little bit of a bump in the road here. It's actually probably a really, really, really big pothole in the road right now, the way things have been going. But I don't think it's necessarily a organizational thing that the Mets don't have the right people in the front office around David Stearns and Steve Cohen. I just think, they're just not playing good baseball right now. And part of it is injury related. Part of it is dog days of summer coming upon us. But I don't think it's that the Mets don't have good eyes for talent or haven't been able to turn some underperforming players into quality talent, i.e. the case of Griffin Canning last year with Sean Manaea and with Luis Severino. So I don't think it's necessarily that, but James Kreider Jr. says Mets are rainbow. Yeah, it's the gay Mets, right? Lane Kerner, Max Kranick is on the IL. Yes, that is correct. So I misspoke on that one before. The American flag, not the rainbow flag. You get what you deserve. Okay. Lane says the Mets call up Blade Tidwell and Denell Nunez. And also, what is the news on Jose Siri, Jesse Winker, Drew Smith, and Brooks? Wow, that is a lot of guys. Well, Siri had a setback. He has been shut down from baseball activity, so I don't expect to see Jose Siri anytime soon. Then you got Jesse Winker, who also is not close to resuming baseball activities, according to David Stearns last week. Oh my God, Jose Iglesias with an RBI hit for the Padres. It's just like, I don't even know why I'm watching baseball anymore. I don't even know why I'm still watching baseball after watching the Mets lose 7 in a row. And of course, it's Jose Iglesias getting a base hit for the Padres. Oh my God. But yeah, the situation with Drew Smith, he's not coming back this year. I mean, I think he had to get Tommy John surgery, last year in like the middle of like June. So like Drew Smith don't even think about him coming back. Brooks Raley is someone that could potentially make a return. I would guess probably the end of July, and that's best case scenario, probably closer to August. But I'm not counting on any of those names you just mentioned. Hopefully Winker gets back soon. I think he's the most important of that group, though. It would be interesting to see if Brooks Raley could still be an effective left-hander in the Mets pen, but I think they will have already acquired one from another team before the deadline is over with that situation. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up here in the next 10 minutes. Again, if you do want to get into the video here tonight, go to the Discord. The link to that is in my description below. I will bring you into the chat and we can have 1 or 2 last calls. If not, I will be wrapping it up here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But really appreciate you all being in here. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every single Mets game. And please leave this video a like. Really helps me out here. So thank you one and all to everybody. I'm going to have a lot of people here in the chat to think it has been extremely active tonight, which I love. Steve says, yeah, people say that about the pride flag and blame the losing. Yeah, it's, not going to get into any of that stuff here. But let's go and take a look at tomorrow's matchup. We know we got Griffin Canning trying to bounce back from 2 pretty not so great starts. His last one really roughed up against Tampa Bay on Sunday. And then taking on Nick Abel, the lefty for the Phillies. So, you know what? What I'll do here is actually share my screen with y'all so you can see it. And again, last call, if you want to be on the stream and make a phone call, get into the Discord now. If not, in the next 5 minutes and there's no one in there, I am going to be wrapping up here. But again, it's been an awesome stream with you guys. So tomorrow, 7:15 start time. Griffin Canning taking on Nick Abel. So Abel has been really solid for the Phillies so far this year. 2.21 ERA. He's 2-0. The Mets obviously have no numbers against him because he is a rookie. But as far as Canning goes against the Phillies, take a look at some of their numbers. You got Nick Castellanos in 11 at-bats, just 182. Love to see that. 5 at-bats for Alec Baum, a 400 average. I don't even know where these guys would have gotten this many at-bats against Canning, having spent his entire career in the American League West with the Angels, but okay, maybe they had 2 times against him last year or something like that. Max Kepler has looks like 2 hits and 3 at-bats against Canning. And then let's see, the big boy Schwarber, 400, so 3 hits in 5 at-bats, or 2 hits and 5 at-bats against him. So not a huge sample size for anybody, but obviously we need to get a good start out of Griffin Canning tomorrow to get that bad taste out of our mouths with him. He is still 6-3 on the year, a 3.80 ERA, but we were talking about his ERA at like 2.43 this time 2 or 3 weeks ago. So obviously these last 2 starts have really been troublesome for him. You can see right here, his last 7 starts, 1-2, not that I care about win-loss record for pitchers, but a 5.23 ERA, over 32 2/3 innings pitched, 19 earned runs. And the biggest culprit, if you ask me for that, is the walks. Right there, 18 walks in 32 innings. So we're talking about more than every other inning, he's issuing a walk. And the strikeout rate, really not great. 26 strikeouts to 18 walks. So I think that has been the biggest issue for Griffin Canning recently. His last time out versus the Rays, it was, again, one of those death by a million paper cuts kind of deals. Obviously not some sharp defense behind him either. He ended up going 4 1/3 in that one with 6 earned runs. And again, you can see it right here. The thing that rears its big, ugly head are these 5 walks that he issued. Other than that, when he doesn't walk too many guys, Canning usually is very successful, but you could see even in this start against the White Sox, he issues 4 walks. He only lasts 3 innings. In the one against the Dodgers at Citi Field, issued 4 walks, only lasted 2 2/3 innings. So if he can command the strike zone and throw strikes, Canning has the ability to still pitch like we saw him the first 10 or 13 times through the rotation. But if he doesn't have command and he continues to issue free passes, he's not going to go deep into this game, and the Mets are going to be staring down the barrel, potentially losing 8 straight games. I'm sorry. I'm going to throw up if I say that out loud again. I can't even bring myself to it. But according to that player in the Mets clubhouse, he guaranteed the Mets are winning tomorrow. That's what he told Mike Puma. So again, who do you guys think that was? I am going to go off with Francisco Lindor. That is going to be my final guess. But I don't know. Do you guys think there was anybody else that might have been that person? Sorry, you guys are looking at my YouTube screen here as I try to keep up with the chat here. Let's get to a couple more here before we wrap things up. Lane, so if you want to get in, you just need to go to the Discord. It is in the link in the description below. You click that link that says Discord, it will bring you over there, and then you will be able to get in and speak here on the stream with me. So if you guys want to do that, again, last call for that before we wrap things up. Let's see. Let me double check here. Ghost of Maidens Park. Cohen should keep. Okay, no, yeah, of course, I don't love politics and baseball or any of that either, but, let's keep it to baseball here as well. Lane says, do you call Drew Gilbert and Ryan, I don't know, Chaffed? I think you got another spelling error there, Lane. But Drew Gilbert, I'm ready to call up, man. Send down Brett Beatty. I don't need anything to do with him. I'm sick of Beatty. We obviously have seen everything we need to know about Jared, what the hell is his name? Young. So yeah, I'm all for having Drew Gilbert. Yeah, Lane, if you want to make the call, again, this is your last opportunity. Go to the Discord. It is in the link in the description below on this video. Once you hop in there, I can bring you onto the stream. But again, if it's not within the next 5 minutes, I'm going to wrap things up. So last call. James says, I don't hate real Mets fans at all. Respect you, but what they did on, okay, yeah. Calls, yeah, I'm taking calls. Good for when they were. Okay. Ryan Clifford. Okay, yeah, I don't know about Ryan Clifford. Yeah, that's who we meant. Thank you, Steve. I thought that's who. It just was totally escaping me. I don't know what Ryan Clifford's been doing this year. Let's take a look at his numbers, though. Clifford has been playing, I believe, center field mostly for the Binghamton Mets, and so far this year, 236 average, but 354 OBP, which is nice to see. He's got an 809 OPS. He's got 12 homers. So, I mean, look, that plays in this version of baseball these days. But I don't think the Mets are going to make him do the jump from AA to MLB. I just don't think that that is in this front office's MO to try to rush guys up and be the saviors for this team. Now, obviously, they kind of did it with Ronnie Mauricio to a much lesser extent because obviously it was just to kind of be a utility third baseman. But I don't think they're going to rush any of these guys up, whether they're pitchers or they are position players. So I don't see Clifford getting the call. I could see it happening with Drew Gilbert, though, who's already in AAA. Obviously, a big difference from playing in Binghamton in the AA affiliate. So, guys, you know what? It looks like we don't have anyone in the Discord, but it was an awesome stream. This was so much fun. We had a couple callers make it in. Hopefully next time that we have another stream, which will be tomorrow, hopefully after the Mets snap their 7-game losing streak, we'll get even more of you in on the stream. So guys, I really appreciate it so much. I'm going to wrap things up, but let me say my quick thank yous. Nico, Talking Mets with Rob. Thank you to Aaron Conway. Thank you to Steve Sorensen. Thank you also, Steve, for the super chat. Thank you to Logged Off Gaming. Thank you to Everyday Mets. Thank you to D Rels. Thank you to Robert Lupinacci. To who else do we have here? Absol. Thank you to Jose Lopez Moya. Thank you to the Kiromi. Thank you to Explosive Diarrhea. I'll never not laugh at that. Thank you to, let's see, who else do we got? Andrew Acevedo. Thank you to Breck Shea Burner. Thank you to Lane Kerner. Thank you to, who else do we got here? James Kreider Jr. And to anyone I might have missed, Ghost of Maidens Park as well. Guys, I really appreciate all of you guys for joining. Thank you all for chatting. You guys are as much a part of this stream as I am. I can't do it without you guys. When you are going off in the chat, it gives me energy. It gives me things to say. So I'm hopefully not just repeating myself. and we can all get this Mets therapy that we require, especially after this 7-game losing streak that we are on. But it has been very fun. Thank you all to watching. We will be right back with another post-game recap after the Mets and Phillies conclude game 2 of their series tomorrow night. First pitch for that one, 7:15 at Citizens Bank Park. Griffin Canning on the mound, looking to be the stopper going up against the Phillies rookie Nick Abel. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Be sure to leave this stream a like, and be sure to tune in tomorrow after that. But until then, I am Tony Metro. You guys stay true to the orange and blue.